All right, everybody, it's the Combatcast with the man called Dave and Chevy, and we're going to be reviewing Royval versus Kape. Kape. Thank you. I was struggling. I don't know why. I was actually saying it right this week because I've caught myself. But yeah, Royval versus Kape. We'll be reviewing that. The co-main event. We're going to talk about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. You like that?
The picture got me. Good job. Was that you or producer Joe?
That's not the producer Joe.
That was quality. If you're only listening to this on audio, it was a picture of Jake Paul next to Anthony Joshua, but it's Jake Paul when he was on Disney Channel. So
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I was not ready for that.
So we'll have that. And yeah, we got a Patreon now. So go to patreon.com, Working Fans Podcasts, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can. We appreciate you. And other than that, before we get to the show, anything going on up? I know we're going to take next week off.
Yeah, so holiday week next week, so we're going to take that one off. And then January 3rd, we're going to do a best of show to wrap up 2025. And then January 10th, we'll be doing our prediction show. We do this every year. Predictions for what we expect or what we anticipate coming in 2026.
Let's get it. Big fight on Netflix this weekend. Big spectacle. Anyway, there it is again. Disney plus Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, former heavyweight champion of the world. Former heavyweight champion of the world that's not 60 years old.
Former gold medalist as well.
Yeah, assuming this is not staged, this could very well be... This could be seriously bad. I don't even want to laugh. I feel almost bad, but like this could get really ugly. Now, hey, you know, it's a fight. You never know what's going to happen. I don't see any way if this is not staged that Jake Paul wins this. Obviously, he trains. He's been training for a couple years now. He's had professional fights. There's always a little, kind of catch to a lot of these fights. But man, if you took somebody without the name value of a Jake Paul and put somebody with this record going up against a weight class, and I don't think it'd be sanctioned, probably.
No, the only reason this is being sanctioned is because the commission's going to make a lot of money off this. So it's, first of all, we've gone over this fight before. Not a lot has changed since then, but just tremendous respect to Jake Paul. I mean, yes, he's going to make, I don't know what he's making, $100 million or something for this fight, but just there's a good chance that he could be seriously injured. We saw what AJ did to Francis, and I think it's safe to bet that we don't think that Jake Paul could knock out Francis like that. So yeah, AJ, I guess this is a tune-up fight for him because obviously there's talks about him and Fury. Fury's, not retired anymore. They're back. So I'll believe that when it actually happens. But yeah, so this is a tune-up fight. His last fight was like over a year ago and he got knocked out by Daniel Dubois.
In the fifth round.
Yeah, in the fifth round.
Now. So, I mean, he's had a year to recover. Before that, he had 4 straight wins. He had a loss by decision. I'm trying to look to see. You got to go to that Andy Ruiz Jr. fight where he was TKO'd, which was like in 2019. So it's not like he's even coming off a series of knockout loss. He had one where he was knocked out and he took a little over a year. So, yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua, round 1 knockout. That is just going to be my prediction here. Unless Jake does a lot of sticking and moving and he can escape round 1 somehow. I don't see that happening.
Just the moving, not the sticking. Just the run away, dude.
Yeah. I know.
That's how you get out of round 1.
Yeah, heavy on more of the moving and But yeah, I gotta say, I favor Joshua, and it's not even like favor him to win. I favor him to knock him out in the first round. I'm hoping that he doesn't send him to the hospital and seriously injure him. But yeah, I think this is going to be done well. And I would say anything past round 1, you start looking at a moral victory, even if his damage in terms of people are caught on to the scene. But me personally, I'm I don't expect you to get outrun 1 in this situation.
Yeah, it should be 1 or 2, depending on how aggressive Jake is. Yeah. If he tries to go at AJ, he'll get knocked out real fast. If he just tries to run away, I don't think AJ's going to chase him, but he's going to hunt him down for sure. But I just want to point out the odds on this fight because I think it's funny. So what I saw, I don't know if these are the most up-to-date odds, but I saw Jake was a plus 700, okay? Wow. And AJ was a minus 1,300. It should be way further away to me. Yeah. I think I've seen other boxing fights where the odds were like minus 2,500. Like it should be minus, 10,000. I just don't see a world. I mean, okay, let's get this out of the way. It's fighting. Anything could happen. Jake Paul could clip AJ with the perfect shot in some situation where he knocks him out. That's not going to happen.
No.
Chances of that happening are so minuscule that it's not even worth talking about. It's not going to happen. So it's really how long can Jake Paul survive?
I think he wants out of the fight. I think he wants out of the boxing game. And I think that Gervonta
way to get out of it.
I think Gervonta Davis was going to be his ticket, which was a much smaller fighter. And he realized that now he couldn't fight Gervonta. So he's like, well, go big or go home. And hats off to him. He got Anthony Joshua. Yeah. So round one knockout. One more thing about this night. I said this to you on Instagram. I didn't know this, but Tyron Woodley is boxing Anderson Silva on this card as well. That could kind of go either way. I would favor Anderson Silva because he's got more boxing experience. Anderson is always getting older. That's why
100 years old.
Yeah, and Woodley has like power still, you know what I mean? So I could see Woodley very well knocking out Anderson Silva, but I'll pick Anderson just because last I knew Anderson still keeps himself in enough shape, and I think the skill difference in striking, I would lead that Anderson will probably finish this fight even, I'll say, within 4 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know what weight they're fighting at, but also I don't care about that fight, and I wish they wouldn't do it.
There you have it. I don't think we need to say anything more about this. Let's move on with the show. The last fight night ever in the ESPN era for now at the Apex. Royval versus Kape. Let's get other fights on this card first.
There were some good fights on the card, in fact. I want to point out Steven Asplund versus Sean Sheriff. Asplund, this was his UFC debut. Mm-hmm. He used to be 500 plus, plus pounds. And so he lost all that weight, right? He's still a heavyweight. He's still, 250 or whatever. But he has like a lot of excess skin or whatever. So people were giving him a hard time and stuff at his weigh-ins or whatever and getting on him. And
got fight at night, by the way, too.
Yeah. Did he? Good. Yeah. So he came out, what you don't realize is so heavyweights, no gas tank ever, of course, right? Mm-hmm. This guy lost so much weight that at heavyweight, he has an excellent gas tank. And I don't know how many punches he really exactly threw, but it was insane output for heavyweight. He really just wore down a guy who used to fight at like 170 in Sean Sheriff. So he just put it on him, got a round 2 TKO. He was all bloodied up. He had excellent, just super gracious, a lot of respect to his dad who grew up as a fighter. Just a great post-fight speech. And I'm a big fan of this guy going forward. I hope he can do well. Heavyweight is really thin, and he's a good character. So I'm looking forward to his next fight.
It's a dangerous fight, but I also feel like Derek Lewis is kind of like just a tailor-made fight for this guy in the sense they're both personalities. He calls himself Titties, by the way. Knocks out eyes like Titties did it again.
He was like grabbing his boobs and shaking them up and down every time the camera was on him after the fight. Yeah.
This is totally a fight for like Derek Lewis. Like if Derek and him just keep winning, maybe they could end up fighting each other.
They definitely got to do like some press conferences before that though, because they're both real funny. So
the other thing I would say too is I saw this funny thing on Reddit saying, "Is this guy actually pretty good?" And somebody commented, "He's a heavyweight with a jab. He's going to do well."
That's literally all it takes at this point. But also we talked last week about Neil Magny was fighting former Bellator champ Yaroslav Amosov round 1 Anaconda choke. We talked about Neil Magny's weakness is high level jiu-jitsu guys. Amosov made it look real easy. He's going to do well in the UFC, I think. Not the best striking, but his grappling is high level, so he's got to be top 15 next. Also, Melquizael, that's not how it's pronounced. Melquizael Costa versus Morgan Charriere. Brutal head kick. I don't know if you saw this one. Absolutely brutal head kick. Charriere was stiff as a board, even though he blocked the kick with his hand. It hit him the sound was also brutal. But round 1 head kick, that guy's knocking everyone out. So keep an eye on that guy, Costa. All right, let's talk about co-main event. Another brutal knockout. Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vallejos.
Yeah, Vallejos is the real deal. I believe I said last week I wasn't sure, fighting Chikadze, who had a lot more, high-level fights under his belt. But, he was coming on some losses. And, in retrospect now, I realized that they were probably setting up Vallejos with a fight that had some name on him that he could win and win impressively, because he did everything he was supposed to do. Unlike our main event, which I'm not going to heavily criticize, but just comparing here a little bit, like where you could argue there was an early stoppage, this was not the case. He put it on Chikadze, and I'm really curious to see what fight they give him next, because he's impressive.
Yeah, round 2 spinning back fist knockout. It was Chikadze did all he could, but it was brutal. He went stiff too. So yeah, Vallejos is a monster. Chikadze's not the highest level guy, but I think this is a guy to keep an eye out on. I think they'll bring him along like they've brought along Patty and Sean O'Malley and the likes. He's a prospect for sure. Main event, Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape.
Yeah, I was another one I was surprised by. Kape, was it round 1? It was round 1. Yeah, it was in the first minute. So yeah, he ends up catching Royval. And you could argue, Royval was up arguing already, but
the way he went down, it looked like he was out. So you can't blame the ref, like the way that he went down. But it seemed like he woke back up on his way down.
Yeah, very quickly. It would have been an interesting fight had they let it kept going, but you understood the stoppage. Yeah, Kape, for a guy who missed a lot of fights like you talked about and not really endeared himself, you do have to also say that he's kind of put himself now in that championship talk. I mean, especially if Pantoja is going to be injured and out for a bit. He seems like the matchup to make, and it is a fresh matchup, and coming off, just finish. I do like the idea of a fight with him and Joshua Van. And who knows? We could be a guy that we've kind of blasted on the show a few times for multiple reasons. He could end up being the flyweight champion here. So we'll see what happens. I say that because Joshua Van, although it's impressive, he's still kind of new at this game, and he had a great fight with Royval, also a competitive fight that he won, and then he beat Pantoja in a very awkward way. So it's an interesting fight with Kape for sure if that happens.
Yeah, Kape is good. I guess give him the title shot. He's going to be such an annoying champion if he gets the belt. So he's going to fight every 2 years, maybe. So great for him. He's an annoying person. But Royval probably should have taken more time off. He didn't get knocked out by Van, but he took the most damage I've seen him taken in a fight. That was only in June. So I know Van came back in the same amount of time, basically, and got a quote-unquote win. We don't know how he would have actually performed in that fight had the Pantoja fight actually happened, but Royval did take a lot of damage against Van. Maybe he just came back a little too early, and that led to him. I mean, he's taken shots like that Kape landed on him and eaten him before. So maybe it's just coming back too soon, or, maybe his chin is going. He's not young. He's been in a lot of fights. So I don't know. I hope that we see him back, but I want him to take some time off. So Kape, hope he doesn't get a title shot ever, and I hope he gets cut.
And I think on that note, the end of the ESPN era. Royval.
I canceled ESPN the second that he landed that shot. I just closed the app and canceled it.
Well done. All right. Well, that is going to be it for the ESPN era, and that'll be it for us this week. Unless you're on Patreon, then we're going to have some more talk, and we're even going to have an exclusive episode. You guys will still have one more episode. But for everybody else, we are taking the week off. Hope you have a great holiday.